Yo, what's up everybody? Welcome back to the channel, and today I'm gonna give you guys my thoughts on Beterbiev versus Bivol 2. Yet another terrific fight from both of these titans. I swear these two were born to fight each other. Their styles mesh so well that every time they match up, the fight will always be competitive and entertaining. So Bivol did the damn thing. He beat Beterbiev fair and square. Just so you folks know where I stand with the whole thing, I thought Beterbiev did win the first fight. I think I scored it around 7-5, and I thought he would knock Bivol out in this fight. But clearly I was wrong, and I ended up scoring this fight 7-5 for Bivol. Interestingly enough, they had the exact same scorecards from the first fight, except this time it went to Bivol. In the first fight, the judges had it 116-112 and 115-113 for Beterbiev, and one judge had it 114-114 draw. This time it was the same exact score, but in favor of Bivol. So I'm telling you, it is written in the stars. These two were born to fight each other. Anyway, let's get into the fight. Like I said, another IQ, high level type of fight. Dare I say it was even better than the first. The first half was insane. Beterbiev started much earlier in this fight. Right from the goal, he went straight to Bivol's body, constantly touching it with his jab and right hand. And Bivol stood his ground more. He wasn't as finicky like he was in the first fight. He wasn't on his bike as much. He still picked his shots, and he chose when to trade and when to work and when to move. To end the first half of the fight, I thought it was a 4-2 Beterbiev type of fight, or even a 3-3 draw. Beterbiev was coming on strong, and I believe it was the 4th and 5th rounds where he looked like he was on the verge of stopping Bivol, guys. The onslaught was tremendous, and Bivol looked like he was getting suffocated from the pressure. He was getting hit to the body and head, and to be honest, it was very, very reminiscent of the first fight, where Beterbiev just kept on coming and coming, and Bivol was forced to shell up and get on his bike. So yeah, I thought either Beterbiev was up or it was a draw after 6. But all the momentum was definitely on Beterbiev's side. I thought he was slowly chipping away at Bivol, and it was only a matter of time until he broke Bivol down and got him out of there. But then the 7th round came, and the 8th and the 9th, and Bivol put it on Beterbiev. I feel it was in the 7th round where he looked like he found his second wind. I wouldn't say he was getting dominated in the first half, but it was clear he was losing. And it wasn't like he was only getting outpointed. No, he was getting hit several times from the monster that is Artur Beterbiev in those rounds. So for him to find his second win and to put a halt on Beterbiev's offense is nothing short of incredible, especially when Beterbiev had all the momentum and when he was going downhill. To flip it on him, guys, simply sensational. Bivol outworked Beterbiev in the second half of the fight. He didn't get sloppy, so his technique stayed perfect, which resulted with him being, deadly accurate. He countered extremely well. He was sharp, he was precise, and his timing was perfect. He threw just the right amount of punches before he circled out of trouble. His legs looked fresh even after taking a beating to the body in the first half, and honestly, he just entered a flow state. I think from round 8 or 9 on, he was just flowing. Everything was perfectly balanced, and he could do no wrong. You could see in the 9th and 10th in the championship rounds that Beterbiev was really getting desperate and frustrated. Couldn't close the gap or cut the ring off, and every exchange he was losing. He was getting really predictable. It was always a jab and an overhand right, or a right hook to the body. He was abandoning his fundamentals and defensive responsibilities, which resulted in Bivol, landing flush over and over again, which in return grew Bivol's confidence higher while further frustrating Beterbiev. You could see him almost shocked at how well Bivol was gliding around the ring and how he, withstood his offensive advance. But he never gave up. I didn't see an ounce of quit or backing down from Beterbiev. He went after Bivol with everything he could, but Bivol just outboxed him in this fight. And in the championship rounds, I saw in Bivol's eyes and in his body language and demeanor that he simply just wanted it more this time around. In the first fight, I thought Beterbiev wanted it more, and he outwilled Bivol, and he showed in the 10th, 11th, and 12th round, which ultimately for me decided the first fight. In this fight, I saw Bivol was so determined to win. He was not gonna be denied. Every time Beterbiev came on strong, he refused to shell up and cower. He traded with Beterbiev, and he got the better of Beterbiev, and it stopped Beterbiev in his tracks. Bivol didn't allow Beterbiev to get going. He stood 10 toes and banged it out with him at times to make sure that Beterbiev doesn't get going. And he came out victorious, man. His determination and courage and willingness to stand in the fire was awarded with his legacy-defining undisputed victory. And I couldn't be happier for him. He really did the damn thing, guys. Y'all saw the smile on his face right after the fight. My guy was smiling ear to ear. You could really see how much this victory meant to him, and you could even see it from the fight. You know, it brings joy to me seeing other men who work so hard to achieve their dream. So I really can't help but be happy for him. And right when the bell rung, I was looking very closely at how Bivol and Beterbiev would interact. And Beterbiev, man, he went for the hug. To me, I saw that as him conceding to Bivol. To me, it looked like he knew he was bested this night, and he showed love and respect to his opponent. Someone who was always, you know, below him in his eyes. You guys gotta keep in mind that they were once on the same national team when they were younger, and Beterbiev was the captain. He was always top dog, and in the pros, he had 3 belts to Bivol's 1, and then they faced off, and Beterbiev got the better of Bivol. So to him, you know, he was always alpha. But I think after this fight, he was low-key proud of Bivol. I think he could feel in the ring how much this all meant to Bivol, and he was low-key, you know, happy for him, as well as the fact that he finally met his match. All these years, he literally just ran through everybody. So for him to finally find someone worthy was probably pretty cool for him. Now, I made a breakdown and prediction video on this fight, and without sounding too much like a douche, I do want to very quickly give myself a pat on the back for identifying what Bivol and Beterbiev needed to improve on to get this win. For Beterbiev, it was to start earlier and target the body more. I think he did a very good job at that in this fight. Although I think he blew his load in the first half by doing so. I think he thought he was about to knock Bivol out, so he tried his best, and in doing so, he gassed a bit. The one thing I thought he could improve on, but he didn't, was to be smarter when entering Bivol's firing range. In the first fight, Bivol set a lot of traps, and Beterbiev fell for a lot of them. And I just thought that Beterbiev could have done a better job, you know, disguising his entrance and anticipating Bivol's return fire. But I don't think he did a very good job at that. I thought he got really predictable, like I said earlier, when he got desperate and frustrated. And that made it so much easier for Bivol to counter him and nullify what he was trying to do. As for Bivol, I said he needs to stop moving so much and trade more. He needed to trust his chin and trust in his punch resistance and in his resilience. He needs to believe that he can overcome Beterbiev's best. And he really did. Among other shots, there was a huge overhand right that he ate so clean. I think it was to end the 6th or 7th round, and he wasn't buzzed at all. It was definitely a shot that 99% of other light heavyweights in the world would have gotten dropped from, and he tanked it like it was nothing. Bivol has a certified granite chin. I also said that he is the younger, fresher fighter. He was much faster. He was a lot more accurate and a lot sharper than Beterbiev, which means that if he chose to trade with Beterbiev, more times than not, he should win those exchanges. It's a risk, but he needed to do it to stop Beterbiev's advance. Most people thought he just needed to do what he did in the first fight, but better. They thought that he should box and move more. In my opinion, no, just because Beterbiev will eventually close the gap, and he'd get outworked and walk down again and lose another point decision. He had to stand his ground and make it a point to show Beterbiev that he ain't no punk. And that's exactly what he did, and look what it resulted in. I also said that he probably couldn't come in a much better shape than he did in the first fight. So he needed to manage his stamina better in this fight. He needed to conserve energy when he can and expend when he must. I mentioned earlier that he wasn't as finicky in this fight. He didn't move as much in the first half. In the first fight, I thought he worked so hard to get out of danger. He threw so many punches to try to keep Beterbiev off of him. But Beterbiev outlasted him. So in this fight, he remained calm and he kept composed and believed in his conditioning, and he didn't panic. Panic saps your energy. So he didn't do that. He didn't overthrow, and he didn't make any unnecessary movements. I also mentioned in my breakdown video that I think that Beterbiev might have taken the 9th round off in the first fight so that he can close the show off so much stronger. And Bivol needed to implement something like that in this game plan. He needed to know when to go and when to hold back, and I really think he did some of that. I think maybe he held back a bit in the first half to preserve his energy for the second half of the fight, and clearly it paid dividends. I don't know, man. Obviously, Bivol and Beterbiev, they don't listen to me, but I'm just glad to see that I do know what I'm talking about when it comes to this boxing thing sometimes. So shout out to Artur Beterbiev and Dmitry Bivol for another memorable, historic fight. And big shout out to Turkey Al Sheikh for giving us boxing fans this wonderful card, man. It was amazing. It was awesome. I never watched a full card from top to bottom. It was long. I sat there for 7 hours, but it was so worth it. It was great. But that's it for me, y'all. What did you think of the fight? I actually ended up checking the comment section on social media, and there are a few people who actually thought Beterbiev won. For those of you that think that, can you please elaborate and let me know why? That's a genuine question. One more question. Who do you have winning the third fight? I'm not gonna lie, after the fight, I was really hard pressed to picture Beterbiev winning the third because he's 40 and Bivol just put on a masterful performance. But it's been a couple days now, and the more I think about it, I can see a path to victory for Beterbiev. A mistake I made going into this fight was underestimating the loser of the first fight. You see, I thought Bivol did fantastic in the first fight, but Beterbiev was just better. And even though I identified many things he can improve on, I just didn't trust in his capabilities of actually executing. But obviously, I was mistaken, as he proved me wrong. So I won't make the same mistake of underestimating Artur Beterbiev in the third fight, because he's a man who just tasted defeat for the first time in the pros after literally decimating every single one of his opponents. So we don't know how he'll react to that. Will he turn into an even bigger demon because of this, or will it, break him? So lots to think about. But yeah, who do you think will win the trilogy? Again, congratulations to these two all-time boxing greats for putting on another spectacular fight. I want to thank you all so much for watching. Please leave a like and subscribe, and I hope you have a lovely day.